Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 123rd of Kouryer Podcast. Our today's guest is Mr. Vahid Bahmani. He's a 2D and 3D digital artist from Toronto, Canada. Now, let's jump into the first question I usually ask everyone. Give us a little introduction on how you got into visual arts and design. Basically, the start of your journey of entering the world of art and visual development and all that stuff.
First and foremost, thank you to having me here, and I want to say hello to everybody who's listening and watching to this episode. If I wanna page through back, I would say that I was started drawing and painting um, since I was 8 years. So the story started when I was at school, and I draw. I think it was a landscape. uh, my teacher watched it and he became blown away, and he said that this is something to behold and you should keep continue. So in that time my family, they really support me, and I can say that until 16 or 17 years I just trained with myself, with some pictures, some stickers, game card, animation movies, and some stuff like that. Because in that time we didn't have enough reference, so it was really extremely tough for us. Then I met with some artist friends, so we became a little close friend together. We spent time to drawing, painting, playing video game, some activities about the concept art. So it that time was really helpful for me with those friends. And then I studied graphic design and painting, but at the same time, I was trying to improve my skills in concept art, and also improve the softwares that I can help about the making or creating some art. Yeah.
All right. And were you originally studying art and design, or you were pursuing another career path, like in the beginning, like when you were a teenager, and at the end of your high school, you were probably thinking like, all right, what university major should I go in, and thinking about the future and all that stuff. From the get go, did you know that you wanted to go to graphic design, or there was another decisions in your mind that you were kind of dealing with?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, in that time, I really racking my mind that because we didn't have animation or video game, which I can study at the university. So pre-university, I studied graphic design, and for university, I studied painting. But my passion was video game and animation. So I just tried to research with that, and also in that time, the internet was not as strong like these days. So yeah, was tough for me.
All right. And all right, speaking of graphic design, you said that you started with graphic design, but later, I mean, of course, in the introduction, I mentioned that you're a 2D and 3D designer. So there was at some point in time that your kind of path changed ways.
Yeah.
So my question right now is, what is your main branch of design that you're focusing on right now? And tell us about your experience from the start of it until now.
So actually, I can say that I'm really happy to study graphic design, painting. So they really help with me, and now I'm just doing. I'm just focusing on concept art. Uh, so making character designer environments, some stuff like this.
All right. And how does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a project? Like by design process, I mean the pipeline and the structure of your work, the process from start to finish of finishing a project. How does your process usually look like?
So I believe that everything gonna start with the story. So before everything, I just try to write some story, even about a character or a project. So after a story, I trying to do some sketch about it, sketch about the main characters, about the assets, about the environment, about everything. And then I just bring them to the computer if they need some as a like 3D modeling. I make it in 3D softwares like ZBrush, Blender, a little 3D Max, and then bring it to the Photoshop or 2D softwares and painting on them, and yeah, finish it.
All right. And usually, what softwares do you use for your like in your process?
Actually, Photoshop, uh, ZBrush, Blender, a little 3D Max, sometimes Illustrator. Um, yeah, that's it. And if I
All
want to
right.
use some special brushes, usually I use the Corel Painter as well.
All right. And all right, let's jump to a pretty interesting question. What was the first art paycheck that you ever got, and what was it for, and how did you feel at the time when you got it?
Uh, Maybe I can say that I was 16 years. I designed a visit card, and I really was happy for doing something, for it was a project for me. So uh, I can say that the money was very less, but I was really happy that I can do something to make money. Was graphic design. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And actually, that's one of the main reasons that a lot of initial artists, wannabe artists, try to go for graphic design first, because when they think about, I mean, fortunately, it's not like this anymore. But for example, when, let's say, even 10 years ago, someone was thinking about becoming an artist, they weren't sure if it was in a stable route that they could go to get a job. So, but what's been known for a long time as a stable route to as an art job is usually graphic design, because you can design logos, you can design this and that and make money. But most people usually don't think about concept art and all other art jobs as something as stable. I mean, not right now. I mean, right now it's stable as hell, but before it was it wasn't as strong as today. And actually, something I want to ask you is, I mean, of course, for me and a lot of the Iranian listeners of this podcast, they know how the art scene is in Iran. But for people who are maybe some of your Canadian followers or people from non-Iranian followers, could you please describe to us how is the art scene in Iran and Shiraz, and basically your experience in it, growing in that space as well?
Uh, Actually, as you know, Shiraz, there is lots of amazing uh, artists who's doing graphic design. But about the animation and concept art, we don't have that much like Tehran or some other cities. Um so when you have immigration to another countries, it's a little tough because the problem is working as a team worker. So I don't know. Uh,
Excuse me,
uh, I don't know
and you can explain the word to me if you need.
about you mean is when I was in Shiraz or uh,
Yes, how the art scene was in Shiraz and just Iran in general, the market, everything.
actually I can't say that I was happy to working in Iran, especially in Shiraz, because I was looking for video game and animation projects, but the popular things was graphic design, which was not bad for me because I could do some character design, as a mascot for some brands. But I tried. Actually, I really wanted to improve myself to video games, so I was not happy there about it.
Yeah, I mean, especially even the video game scene is relatively new in Iran. So, yeah, I mean, the industry itself has a lot of learning to do there.
Yeah, actually, I got
And
some project from another countries, but it was hard. It was really tough.
yeah, I
We
mean,
had lots of issues about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because of all the sanctions and stuff like that, it's not really easy to get, jobs from like other countries.
Yeah, true.
And all right, let's jump into the next question. Who are your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
Iranian artist or
Both doesn't matter.
uh, Ashley Wood. I really would love his art because he's really good into traditional painting, oil painting, acrylic, and digitally everything. So I really admire him.
Hmm. Yeah, Ashley Wood is definitely one of the pioneers when it comes to that. Speaking of ashes, there's another artist called Ash Thorpe that I recently found out. He does
Yeah,
amazing vehicle designs.
yeah.
And all right, what are you working on right now that they can tell us about? What kind of project is it? I mean, of course, if there's something there, there's an NDA involved, we can skip right past this question. But if that's not the case, what are you working on right now?
Actually, right now I'm doing some making some collection for NFT, so which is really popular these days. So I'm working on a collection that which I did the first one, the Viking that recently I uploaded in the social media. So there is 20 different characters, which I mix everything together, like Viking characters, ninja, um, some stuff like that, and uh, improved 3D modeling. Yeah, I'm just busy with that.
All right, very interesting. I mean, of course, I will also add the new Viking illustration up right here for anyone who's like watching the video version. They're probably seeing it. For the audio listeners, you can check it on the first introduction post on the Instagram page or on the video version on YouTube. So, yep,
Yeah.
just needed to mention that as well. And all right, what area beside the area you're working on right now would you be interested to explore and learn in the future? Like it could be something completely non-arts related as well.
Sorry, could you please say again?
All right, sure. What areas beside the area you're working on right now, which is art, would you be interested to explore and learn in the future?
Sorry, I didn't catch your meaning exactly about
Yeah,
the
basically what I'm trying to say is besides art, what else what other
thing.
areas and arts do you like to learn and get good at?
Instead of art, I
Art.
can say anything. No, no, just art.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's based on your Instagram page. It seems that you're a pretty active athlete, so I would assume like athlete, like sports is one of them, right?
Yeah, actually, at the same time when I started art, like drawing, painting, when I was as a kid, uh, but actually my passion is art. I just do sport, working out, playing tennis just for my health and for myself to be more happiness about it. But instead of art, I don't think about anything.
All right.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's actually awesome. And yeah, pretty healthy lifestyle. All right, now we've reached the final question of the podcast, which is a section and question of the podcast, which is called final words. Well, let me explain. Imagine if you had like a limited amount of time, and in that limited amount of time, you could say a message or leave a message or any messages from you, a human, to another human being, to people who are listening to this podcast. It could be about anything. Like it could be about life or maybe career, anything that is on your mind right now. What would those be?
Actually, you want to say that with what things that I recommend for others? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Any tips or advices, anything.
Uh, Actually, the things that really helped me uh, was a sport, and if I wanna say about the art, drawing on a paper, because these days lots of artists they're just doing just digital art. They start from digitally. I really highly recommend that they should drawing on a paper. They don't should forget the traditional painting, traditional drawing. They should keep it. It can be really helpful because You can some sparks on your mind when you're drawing, and mm, you know y- and every day you should update yourself with new softwares, with new techniques. This is really important.
All right. Thank you so much for coming by for this episode of the podcast. Where can people contact you if they had any question? Is your Instagram page okay if I put it in the captions?
Yeah, sure.
All
Sounds
right,
good.
and thank you so much again for coming by, and thank you to anyone who tuned in and listened to this episode. I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you have any suggestions or critiques or comments, leave them out down in the comment section below as usual. And with that being said, take care everyone. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you.